Yo, what is up? Myself, Rudhra talks, and today I have Acharya with me for this interview. Let's get into the interview. Welcome Acharya to the Rudhra Talks podcast.
Hey man, thank you, bro. What's up? How you doing?
All good. My first question to you is what's going on right now? Are you working on projects? Any upcoming music? Tell us about it.
Yes, sir, man. We're as of now, there's a couple of singles that we've been working on. Plus, there's a big project we're working on, me personally, and Siyaahi Dhanji as well. And then there's a couple more features on that project.
Now let's get to your project Acharya and Friends. Tell us about the project. How did it
hmm
came up to you?
So Acharya and Friends basically just started off in the first part of, I guess, 2021, early 2021. And we've just been essentially making a bunch of music together, like all the whole team, which is a part of Bombay Local. So Grav, Farhan came about a bunch. Mostly Grav was here. Siai Dhanji are there. Neil, another guy whose house we work at. Him and Grav also have a tape out. So we've just been working on stuff. Honestly, just trying to vibe with each other, figure out how each other work and how we can, like complement each other's styles. And so we made a few singles around that time, and we didn't really know exactly uske saath kya karna hai. So bas we were just sort of stacking all those singles up, and yeah, I mean, some of it went into somebody's tape, some of it went here there. Some of them still sit on our hard drives as singles, but yeah, these ones we sort of thought that they're a good bunch of tracks to put together and sort of make a compilation sort of tape. And like I always wanted to like put something out like that. So yeah, it was essentially just a bunch of singles that we thought vibed with each other, and sort of sounded concise a bit.
So my next question to
Okay.
you is that when you make a
Hmm.
beat, how do you think you will take it forward? Like you have a basic beat, then how do you add elements to it, like new other melodies and more?
So mostly I start with either an idea for a groove or such, where I feel like there's a vibe to this beat, either emotionally or like rhythmically. If somebody can like already bop their head to it from the beginning, that's a good indicator for me that it's worthy of a good song. And then like after that I add elements. My general idea is to sort of have the least elements possible, because I feel like that makes the mixing mastering part of the whole job easier, and more like you can fill up the space with a few sounds. And also I feel like that less is more ideology sort of like really works with me. And I don't feel like I need to overcomplicate my stuff to make it mean something for myself.
Yeah. So my next question to you is working with Gravity. Like it's an unofficial rapper producer duo. Like you making King Groove, Matchstick, and your recent drop Tipu. Like tell us about working with Gravity and producing for him.
Mm, so, I mean, we started working around, I think, late 2020 after we'd put out Lost in AMD with Grav. Grav and Rymix and DC Karma had come over. That's the first time I met them. They all came to Ahmedabad. We sort of met up. We had a first studio session where we all sort of were present there. And yeah, that's the day Fuck the Ops was made, man. And like, we had that beat, and the energy was such that, everybody really wanted to spit on it, and it was all new for all of us. We just met each other, not so much time had passed really. So energies were nice, the vibe was nice. We sort of constructed that, and then post that, I think Grav sort of, you know, has always told me he's liked my beats quite a bit, and yeah, post that we just really worked on a bunch of different shit. Like I sent him a few things, he sent me like ideas of what he wanted to try out. And I feel like he wanted to try out a different chapter in his own sort of story as well, where he wasn't exactly really doing much bouncy stuff at the time. He was more a dark rapper, slightly more serious at his stuff, which he still is. But I think like even with these bouncy songs, I think there's still a lot of depth in them. But yeah, he got to explore a different side of the genre that he previously hadn't as much. So I think it was both a learning experience for both of us. Because for me too, like working with him has been really dope because he can write so quickly and he just like spits on the spot. You know, he has a good almost one take delivery each time, which was new to me as well. And that came with its own like benefits. You know, like it gave you an idea of how you could shape the rest of the instrumental also pretty quickly versus taking your time with it and like having more to change beyond that, because that also has its own merits too. Like you find you can like really develop a song together rather than it being just both of you doing your own thing on it.
True. So
Mm-hmm.
like my next question to you is, you also worked on many projects. Like you have produced for Lost in AMD. You have produced for Misadventure as well. Your own project Acharya and Friends. Like when you produce for a project or a single, do you have some different kind of thoughts to it? Like you have to connect the beat or transitions.
Mm. So I would say the first time me, CI, and Dhanji worked together was in Lost in AMD, and that was incidentally my first time working on something with hip hop like that at that level, where we, constructed everything with each other around and made a whole project out of that. With that one, we knew it was a mixtape for a certain like time, so we kind of knew that they didn't necessarily have to connect the beat, like the beats didn't have to like merge into each other or have that much of coherence with each other. But I feel like beyond that tape, even with Acharya and Friends, I still sort of had in my own head a sort of storyline, the way it went, the beats, the way they sort of meld into each other, the songs, in fact, after they've been formed into full songs, they kind of, there's a sequence to it and there's a meaning behind that sequence. Like I know there is one, the listener has their own ability to like deduce that if they want to. But beyond Lost in MD, I think we've really thought of that, putting like things in between tracks or like even making the beats sort of work with each other even more so.
Yeah. So my next question to you is that how did this trio from AMD came up? Like you working with Dhanji and Siyaahi.
Hmm.
Am I
Sorry,
audible?
how did? I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
I'm sorry. So my question was that how did this trio came up? Like working with Dhanji and Siyaahi,
Oh,
working on more projects.
oh. Yeah, like we first ever worked on Lost in AMD together. CI had seen my beat on one of these says live stream things, and we kind of hit each other up. Before that, we'd met a few times. I knew of his existence. We had tried working once, but utna kuch hua nahi tha tab. And then yeah, Lost in MD, we really sort of he brought Dhanji over and we had like a fun time after that. We've just vibed with each other since then. And I think we're beyond people who just make work or like work together or make music together. I think there's we actually hang out with each other, so there's more than just work involved, and hence we've been able to work for so long, like with each other, because it's I think it's more beyond that than just the work, I suppose. So I think that's what keeps it going. That's what keeps us, working.
So are we going to see more projects from Dhanji, Siyaahi and Acharya?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the biggest project that we're about to drop either late this year or early next year, that's gonna have primarily me, Siahi, and Danji on most of all the tracks. It's about uh, a bunch of different tracks, about a dozen tracks. We have multiple features on it that are also very awesome, very spicy for you guys. But yeah, mainly it's the three of us. So that's our next big project. You can, you know, look
Yeah.
out for that.
Yeah. So my next question to you is how is performing live? Like it's been a different experience than just producing music.
Mm. So, I mean, I've started my career as a DJ before a producer like that. So, I have been performing as a DJ for a very long time. And working with these guys just sort of added to that because now there's another element to the whole set. We have like a live element to it. There's rappers that are there. There's like a whole, there's more of an MC as well as a DJ. And so now we can really do how hip hop really originated and do the whole, have a, DJ at the back running the whole sound, making everything, sound right, but also have an MC at the front, doing it just like a hip hop way, the real authentic style flavor. So it's been really fun, I would say. Even like, you know, producing them and hearing them out loud as well is a whole different thing, because now you're hearing your own tracks being played out, people really vibing to those. That really changes a lot of shit up, you know? That's really dope.
Yeah, there is a song that I wanna personally ask you, like the producing
Mm-hmm.
4424 as it got viral.
Mm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
many people came to you, like audience came to you after that song.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. A lot of audience really came to us after 4424, because that one really like was the one that got big. वो फट गया थोड़ा. A lot of people, as in like artists, also were drawn to it, and they were like, oh, we want similar stuff. What is this flavor? We haven't heard as much of this in the Indian scene like that. And lots of people too. Like we heard from a lot of people. A lot of people send us like stories of them just vibing to it while they're doing their stuff, And yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Okay, so my next question to you is how has hip hop and like producing and performing has changed you like on a personal level?
On a personal level, man, I think it gave me a lot more direction in what I was doing with my music, because like prior to this, I was doing a lot of, like I said, DJing and stuff, and I had a lot of different genres I was pursuing at that point in time. I think towards the end I'd switched into trap, like EDM trap more so, and I think that was the closest I could have been to hip hop without it being hip hop, and I would bring in a lot of hip hop into my sets because I've always been a listener prior to being a performer of it or being a producer of it. But I think working with these guys and being able to put such a project, put you know me in a space where I could say, okay, hey, this is my genre. I really fuck with this genre for now. I think I'm gonna stick with it for a long time. And so that way, work-wise, career-wise, it really gave me direction. But personally, I don't know, man. It's quite fulfilling too. Like I said, if you see, like having more people to work with, collaborate with, I think that all really just started when I started doing hip hop. Prior to that, it was more so me doing music on my own, me making my own sort of beats or like instrumentals or like tracks, you want to call them. And the collaborative nature of the whole thing really taught me a lot, I would say, because you meet a lot of people, you get to travel, all of that.
Yeah. So my next question was that how has uh, over the years how has your skill improved and also getting more and more audience with the new music?
So as of now, I would say I'm at a pretty good level personally. I would say I am happy with where I'm at on my skill set. Maybe when I started working on hip hop, I was still a person that was, unsure about a few things here and there. And maybe that the 5, 6 years before that, I was even more unsure. So all I can say is for my process and how I think my skill sets really improved, I think I've just gotten more and more confident with my choices. The fact that people fuck with it and vibe with it really puts, weight on the fact that I've made the right choices over time. So I feel like, yeah, man, the skill set's definitely improved. I like the fact that it's improved, and I'm happy. I'm happy with where I'm at. Is what I would say.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, like, as you are a producer, then what does a producer looks when he is making a beat? Like, what value you want to get from that beat?
I think for me personally, like even subconsciously before, because I wasn't as aware of it, but now more so that I'm aware of it, I think, like I said, primarily it's two things for me. It's feel of it and the rhythm of it. So groove is a really big important part for me. I know for a fact that if somebody's bopping their head somewhere, if I'm bopping my head first and foremost, and then if I see it, one, two, three more people like really vibing with the rhythm of it, if they think the beat bangs in a certain way, I think that's top priority for me. Second is how it feels. So now I've started exploring the melodics of a track more than the rhythmic and the percussive elements of it, and I'm finding a lot of fun in doing that because I can say a lot more than I used to just be able to say with the groove. Like if you listen to slightly some of the prior work, it's more about having a good time, more so dancing and just like jumping around, bouncing around, maybe if you want to call it that. But if you now listen to the work that's about to come out and the work that we've been working on now, there's a strong, I think, emotional element which comes with how you color your track, with the sounds, with the chords, with how you play stuff, how you arrange is also very important, to like make moments happen, build tension, release it. That's how you keep a listener engaged, I feel. And so I think that's what, the main two things that I'm like looking for. And then like, if you build a relationship with another artist that's a vocalist, then you kind of have a feeling of what they would like, because you know their taste, they've heard your taste. And then if I'm really producing for one artist, then I really have to push, myself to make something that I think they would fuck with, and as well as the audience.
Yeah, my next question was going to be that exactly, like making connections with artists and then like producing for them.
Hmm. Sorry, can you repeat that?
Like making connections with artists, as you are a producer,
Hmm.
as you
Hmm. Hmm.
explore more, you get new artists and you connect with them, like collaborating with them.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So like, how do you like think that this guy will fuck with this type of a beat, or like while
So
you are
how do I
producing for
think
them?
somebody's gonna like
Yeah,
somebody new that I'm working with? Or how do I know their taste?
yeah, like Gravity.
Yeah.
You produce for Gravity. You produced for
Yeah.
Neil also.
Hmm. Hmm. So I think I kind of go through their catalog. I go through, what they've made so far. That gives me a really good idea about what they, are into, their taste, what they kind of fuck with. I probably have a conversation with them. That kind of really helps me to kind of know the person a little bit more. And beyond that, I think if they can tell me what they're influenced by, sometimes people send me a reference track. I ask for a reference track sometimes if I'm not finding it too clear, like what they want. But a lot of times it's having that conversation, spending some time with the person, even if it's a phone call or whatever, like having some time to text with each other, whatever, just to get to know each other a little bit more and maybe figure out what kind of things you're motivated by, what your taste is. That really helps me deduce what an artist would like fuck with.
Yeah, so wrapping this up with this last question, as you have
Thanks.
like right now told me that you are working on a big project, so is it going to be your next step for this music career of your music career?
Yeah, definitely, man. I think it's for at least the three of us right now. It's the thing we're focusing on the most. We're putting all our efforts into this one project right now, and we have been. So I strongly believe it'll like have something to say at least, if not really push us in some way or the other.
Yeah, also Dhanji is coming up with his album Ruab.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a wrap. Thank you so much for being on this interview.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Thank you for having me, bro.
A whole lot of other shit and I mark a shit to them dollar bills. I want all of this. Young Anakin, उसने गाने नहीं सुने फिर भी fan हो गई ना. अब ऐसा भी होता है क्या? सीधा बेस. अब ऐसा भी होता है. लालच मुझे खींचे मैं खुद को डूबते हुए देख रहा हूँ. Read a contract like a screenplay. I'm trying to see how it gon' play out. मैं कह रहा हूँ कि मैं खेल रहा हूँ. New character now in a day job. All the slides, camera rolling. All of just know that I'm the best.